Robbie Bacon here, Associate Editor of RideApart, for the launch of Triumph's Speed Twin and Speed Twin RS. I'm in the beautiful Mallorca here in Spain, and kind of no better place to launch these bikes because I don't know if you've ever been here, but it's supercars, yachts that I don't really want to know how much they cost because it just makes you feel bad, and gentlemen who probably look at these bikes, you know, statically and appreciate the beauty, but have no idea what lurks beneath. And that's quite like how I like to think of myself, a gentleman with a bit of a streak. And that's probably why I've grown to love these bikes over the course of the day. Spoiler alert. Now, I haven't had the privilege to ride the previous generations of these models, but I can say, as you would probably expect, a 1200cc parallel twin 720-degree crank engine to be, it's raunchy. They're both raunchy. They both have the same engine, although this has a different riding mode in sport. They are bikes you want to be in the meat of. You want a short shift. You're not railing them to redline over and over again, which it's not that fun anyways. The redline's at 8 grand. I don't know, between 4.5 grand and 7 grand, there is a very, very noticeable step up in power. And if you look at a power map, you would be led to believe that the torque curve is more or less flat and the horsepower curve is similarly flat. But that's why you watch these reviews, that's why we come to these launches, because I'm here to tell you, it does not feel like that. You can ride all day below 4,000 RPM, and if that's what you did, you would never know the lariness that hides behind the 4.5 grand wall. And if you live up there, then you get off these bikes kind of wondering, what exactly is this? Like, is this a sport bike or is it a, you know, retro naked? It's somewhere in between, and that goes for the standard model as well. Difference makers are really the suspension, the fully adjustable forks with stronger springs up front, and the Öhlins adjustable rear shocks. Combine this with the Brembo Stylemas, the M430s, and you've got a bike that's just so much more composed when you're on the sauce and you have to get it stopped before the corner. This bike encourages you to ride in a more, I'd say, again to use the word, gentlemanly fashion. You flow through the corners, you use engine braking more, because that's what the bike wants. But there is a standout feature, one that you might not expect, but these Triumph branded front brakes are something else. I mean, when I got on the bike and I thought, oh, you know, OEM branded brakes, all right, let's see what they're like. Seriously good brakes. The Brembos had a lot more feel to them, but seriously good brakes for what you're getting. And what are you paying more? You're paying about $2,500 more at $15,995, and this is basically about $13,500 for many of the roads that we even rode today, and many of the roads that a lot of you guys are going to be riding. The standard model is probably going to be just as fast and more comfortable over speed bumps, more comfortable over potholes, over dodgy roads. Like, the power is there, it's lovely. The fact that it is a bit softer in its suspension setup, the fact that it doesn't have a quick shifter, whereas this one does, all kind of pushes you to a riding style that's a little bit more flowy and enjoyable. It's not that it's more or less engaging, it's just engaging in a different way. Someone told me they bought this bike because of the colour. I also wouldn't blame them, because it is bloody beautiful. It's unreal. And in the sunlight, it's even better. So I've spoken about most of the things that separate these bikes, but another aspect which I've seen on so many bikes of the kind of standard and sport that I really can't notice, but I do notice with these two models, is the ergonomics. So these handlebars are a little bit pushed forward on the RS. The rear sets, the pegs, are a little bit higher and back, and at the start of the day, I didn't really notice the difference, but as the day went on and we were swapping back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, you started going, okay, instantly now you're put into a more relaxed position and you're encouraged to be that bit more relaxed. Instantly I hop on the RS and I go, this is a bit more, this wants me to push on a little bit harder. And even though the ergonomics are different, I'd say the biggest surprise, they both tip in so quickly and so easily. They want to tip in. Actually, it caught me off guard at the start because I was thinking, okay, big speed twin, 1200, it's going to take me, I really have to force this around. No way. They're not show ponies, even though they are beautiful retro bikes. They're not just for looking good outside of a cafe. I'm not going to touch on everything that differentiates these two bikes because I will in the article, and I don't think some of it makes that much of a difference, but what definitely makes a difference are the tyres. So you have the Metzeler Racetech RRs and the Metzeler M9 RRs. And the M9 RRs definitely heat up that bit quicker. On a cold morning, that might be actually what you want. If you're on a long ride and you're going to be doing even 80 kilometers straight, when these get up to speed, the Racetechs, there's definitely more feedback coming through, and that is accentuated by the ergonomics. With all that said, these are two bikes that I would encourage more people to ride if they want to buy. Ride before you buy. Some bikes I would say, look, just get the sport version, it's better in basically every way. But for these two, I think for some people they're going to be as fast on the standard version as they would be on the RS. And for other people who ride differently and who have different roads available to them, the RS is definitely going to be the bike to go for. They are my initial thoughts. But all will be revealed, all will be explained, and all will be thought about more in-depthly when I write the piece. So check it out on RideApart and subscribe. Cheers.